Our first topic of discussion today, Danielle, is a bit of a recap of that West Coast road trip and maybe the first game back against Charlotte as well. Now, the road trip ended with a loss to Dallas. Another one of those really, really hard-fought games where you feel like they ran out of some gas. But we were both in the media room Monday when Nick Nurse talked about how you're always worried about the last game of a long road trip and the first game back from a long road trip as well. Nothing to worry about on the game back, blowing out the Hornets, but your thoughts on that road trip in general? I know you were in LA as well for the start of at least those two LA games, Portland and Dallas, to wrap things up.
Well, I think going into the trip, and correct me if you had a different thought on it, but I went in with very low expectations.
Which only lowered, I imagine, once Lowry and Ibaka were ruled out for an extended period of time.
Right.
In that first game against New Orleans.
Very first game, you lose two starters. You're going, Nick Nurse already doesn't trust, maybe trust isn't the right word, but at least isn't sure what he can get from a lot of the bench guys, hasn't seen a lot of minutes from them, and hadn't got them in the rotation much. Now he's going to face the Lakers, followed by the Clippers on a very tough trip, and completely surprised us. Not only do they beat the Lakers in what I have to say was one of their most dominant performances we've seen, period, in a long time, but then the Clippers, they were right there. They maybe could have won that game, and while we don't discuss moral victories of sorts in this league, they held Kawhi to nada.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. They completely diffused
it
his
was LeBron,
his skill.
Kawhi, and Dame in 3 straight games without Lowry and Ibaka, and you shut them down, and then Luka went off in the final game of the road trip. I want to pull up, guys, I know we have the minutes leaders in the NBA right now. If we can pull up that board, here's what I want to highlight, and you can see Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Kyle Lowry, 3 of the top 10 in minutes so far, 3 of the top 8, obviously. You know, you mentioned how Nick Nurse didn't trust a lot of the bench. Well, these minutes are going to come down for at least those first 2 guys right now because the emergence of guys like Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, the trusted confidence in a guy like Terrence Davis, and the hope for consistency in a guy like Norm Powell, who's getting some spot starts right now, it's going to mean those other guys play a little bit less right now. And again, in the era of load management, the era where we know the playoffs are all that matters, the Raptors would be wise to not play Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam 40-plus minutes a night. And when you have games like the ones against Charlotte and hopefully Orlando tonight, you see that your depth can really be trusted. We remember, a week ago, we didn't know if he had a bench. We didn't know if the Raptors had a bench, and now you have Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, who's emerging as a star, who's exactly our next topic of conversation right now, because he's kind of endeared himself as a super big fan favorite.
I was going to say Rondae has immediately become someone that everyone wants to band around, and he talked about his importance of catching Nurse's attention, and would he have had an opportunity if the circumstances weren't what they were with other injuries? And now there's going to be more of a discussion of what's going to happen when Serge comes back. I was a part of the Sportsnet broadcast in this Charlotte game, and man, Rondae felt like he was everywhere. He plays like a big man, and after the game, Pascal Siakam, who sits right beside him in the locker room, was giving him a hard time. He wanted all of us to introduce Rondae as center, 6'6" center,
6'6" center, exactly.
Because he plays so big off the boards, and that was a huge focus all season that they needed to get better at.
Rebounding was such a big issue for this team to start the season. He's come in and just acted as this Energizer bunny of sorts. We've seen it in this city. You know, ironically, Bismack Biyombo was celebrated in that Charlotte game. He's almost that guy that comes in and just causes disruption. He had 4 offensive rebounds in that game. He scored 15 points, 8 boards. He's had double-digit points games in 3 of the 5 games that he's really played in so far this season, with 8 points and 9 points in the other 2. So if you're getting that contribution for him and you're getting that energy from him, more importantly, Toronto fans are going to love him pretty quickly, I think.
It's definitely going, and it seems to spread. Something I wanted to point out also about that LA trip was Chris Boucher's performance.
Yes, of course.
And Ibaka was so vocal with him about what he can do and how he can get better, and he's someone that clearly takes in all of that and utilizes it, because he was super strong on that trip as well.
They need these other big men as well, because the one that's starting right now, Marc Gasol, is seemingly struggling offensively again. Now, I tweeted a couple weeks ago that I don't think Marc Gasol should even step in from the 3-point line. I think he should just operate out of
perimeter,
there, take shots from there, or pass out of there. And if he's ever inside there, or God forbid, under the basket, it should be in a passing role. Now, we saw him in that role against Charlotte a little bit on Monday as I break tables here.
So excited about
on this
it.
show. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to talk Raptors, a little less so to talk about Marc Gasol's disappointment. But Catch and shoot threes, he's still doing a little bit better than okay. He's shooting 40% from three this season. It's just you hope he shoots a little bit more.
Well, he's got to take the opportunity when they present himself, but it's almost like it's been so bad that he's passing it up even when he has such a good look because it's just not coming along. I spoke with him about it. He said his rhythm is just off and he's well aware of how poorly he's shooting. But trust me on this, that Marc does a lot for this team that maybe doesn't show up on the stat sheet, right?
8 rebounds, 9 assists last game, a block as well, 9 rebounds the game before. Again, their rebounding was such an early season concern that you're encouraged by numbers like this. You're encouraged by performances where he's at least fighting for boards and making the right pass. He always tends to make the right pass. It's just a matter of sometimes doing it too often, right? It feels like he gets shocked every time he shoots, but you want the guy to shoot just a little bit more. His numbers are historically bad for a center right now from 2-point territory, but like I said, shoot the three and be a good passer and your role will be efficient.
And the three is an interesting little nugget with the Raptors so far too, because I think we talk so much about Kawhi leaving. Well, how about the fact Danny Green, who was their sharpshooter from distance, gone? Who's going to step up and are they going to continue to be a good three-point shooting team? And they're proving that they absolutely are.
All right, your comments are coming in. We're going to touch on some of them in a hot second, but you mentioned Danny Green and the Lakers, which means it's fitting to talk about the Lakers for a hot second. They're the best team in the NBA.
Yeah.
We are here to talk about zero of that.
Correct.
We're here to talk about something completely different.
We have to talk about a performance for the ages, and that being Gronk. Did you have Gronk in retirement, potentially becoming a Lakers dancer?
No.
No?
But it doesn't surprise me. And here he is, pre-game warming up. Like, he's taking it super seriously. Like, this is his Super Bowl. This is his Super Bowl.
Is almost better than the dance itself. Those high kicks, electric. Coming in with the moose. Now, I have to mention his girlfriend's Camille Kostick, who used to also be a cheerleader. And she said on Twitter that they really rehearsed. She worked through this stuff with him and it went so well, and you can see he was trying. I appreciate the choreography.
Sound the alarm because he is on fire indeed. James Corden also in that dance. Not nearly as good as Gronk, which is why we're not showing you. He's cute and and in his enduring kind of way.
Corden had rhythm. I think there were a couple of moves that I was digging. There was a couple of shoulder body rolls that Corden had going on, but stick to the carpool karaoke, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if my guy Gronk is going to come back to the NFL because he's just living his absolute best life on bucket loads of money that he's saved through his playing days, so that's fun. Speaking of bucket loads of money.
You have them for me.
I don't. My guy Max, though, might have some. Max was involved in a contest with the Lakers where if he hit X amount of shots in a row, he wins 30 grand. So, gotta hit one from 3, gotta make the layup, gotta make the free
Making
throw.
that layup look money, right?
Look
Just
at my guy.
take those
no
easy
rim,
shots.
by the way. No rim. Still doing his damn thing. And the last one from near there.
Wow.
No
pressure for Max, just lighting up the scoreboard.
I actually don't know how many shots he had to hit.
I don't know either, but he's
feels like they were making him work for an unreasonable amount of time. But he had, you have to get 30 points. 30 points. Come on, kid!
Oh, I'm sorry. He was 19 of 20 from the field. No big deal.
30K. 30K.
How old is Max?
9 years old. And the Lakers, Lakers coming out to show him some love because that was amazing.
You know they do this every game, so if you get them to come out and give you a high five, you did good work.
Hit up the comments. Are you jealous of a 9-year-old kid?